Alright, so the first thing you want to do before you even bother touching the brakes is make sure your bleed nipple valve comes loose. If this doesn't come loose, alright, snaps, well if it snaps you're going to have to drill it out, but yeah, this is essential because you do need to bleed your brakes after doing all this, so there's no point doing it to a basically already bugger caliper. Okay, so once you're happy that the brake bleeder nipple is moving, you want to clamp off your line. If you've got clamping tools, I'm going to use a mole grip. I wouldn't recommend this because you can crush the inner part in here, and then that leads into a weakened flexi line which might burst. So there is other ways of stopping brake fluid coming out your system, like if you put a block of wood so that it's pressing the brake pedal down constantly all the time. That stops the brake fluid from coming out. But I'm in the market for some new ones of these anyways, so I'm not too bothered if these ones start to go. Do not do this with braided lines as well. Braided lines cannot be clamped off. They just, no, they just do not get clamped off. But standard ones, I'm going to chuck like a bit of cardboard or something in the jaws just to protect them a bit more. But yeah, no, do this one at your own, well, do everything at your own risk, but this is more of the risky option, but needs must for me. Alright then, once you're happy with that, break off this bolt here. So that is for the brake line. Yeah, so you want to break it off and then put it back on so that it doesn't leak fluid everywhere. Make sure you got a catch, like some kind of catch basin at the bottom. And then basically just take your caliper off. So the two slide pin bolts, one at the top, one at the bottom. And then pull this bolt all the way out and then drain all the fluid out of the caliper. So yeah, you want to get a screwdriver in there and push the piston back in by twisting the caliper, just so as you can make it a little bit easier on yourself and getting out. Helps if you loosen. Perfect, so I'll retighten that so I'm not spilling brake fluid everywhere. There we go. Alright, so I've cleaned up the caliper because I'm going to be painting it. Just taking the good opportunity. So the good thing about these Yaris, this is a Bosch caliper. It does say right about here, but it is completely gone on mine. Drum brake Yaris, this one's off a French one. I'm not too sure if they're on the Japanese model, but they are the 51mm piston model, and the identifying factors are like the lugs on here and the type of pad it goes into it. You can see the pad's got the round lugs, as I like to call them. So there's many ways of getting these out. You can put like the bleed nipple valve back in there and then put a air line to it and just push it out. With the airline, you could pump it out so it's extended all the way out on the car, then take the caliper off and pull the rest of it out or hit it out. But for me, the easiest way with these Yaris calipers is that if you take the main kind of feed screw out, I can't remember what you call it, the flexi line out, you can basically see the back of the pad, the back of the piston. So I've got a very, very long 8mm bolt, M8. So I just put it up against the wall like that, the bolt inside of it, and then I just hit the bolt with a hammer, and then it pushes the piston along and it pops out. Just as simple as that. Depends how seized yours is. So as easy as that, and as you can see, there's not too much damage to the back of the piston. So we're going to have to clean all that out, and we're going to take the seals out as well. So I just use, if you've got a pick tool, that's even better. I only have screwdrivers, so you can see there's like, very closely, this little inner ring here, that needs to come off in order for this dust boot to come off properly. So I'll just hit him off. Yep, that was very dead. Just walk about. Simple as that. So just so as you can see everything, we took the kind of square ring seal out. Looks fairly new, to be fair. And then we took this out along with its metal kind of bracey bit that holds it in. You can see there's kind of rubber and you can see the rubber and metal bit. So yeah, take them all up. So now we need to really clean the inside of this piston. It's not a piston actually, this is the housing. We've got to really clean it. So if you've got brake fluid, that's perfect. Just spray loads of it in, get it all up in there and just clean it all out. Do the best you can to clean it. Alright, so I've got that as clean as I can. Tip for anybody struggling getting stuff out of the bottom, use a bit of tape. Yeah, so stick a bit of tape in there and it picks up all the dirt. So I've got my new rebuild kit here. It's a Big Red. What you get in the kit from Big Red anyways is your piston. There's a tub of grease, a little sachet. You get your accordions for your slide pins. You get a boot, and then you get the inner seal. So I'm going to stick the inner seal in first, and that goes back into the groove that we pulled the other seal out. So this is probably not a one-handed job. So you want to make sure this goes in nice and straight and not twisted. And that looks just like it's went in. There we go. So you want to make sure that's all nice and seated in there. That it's not twisted. It looks nice and flat. It protrudes a little bit, not too much. As for this seal here, make sure you put it in the right way. There's a stepped lip. So that stepped lip needs to be on the outside, just like that. So I like to grease the piston up before I put it in. So I'm going to put a bit of grease on that when I put the camera down. But I also find it a lot easier putting the outer boot on first onto the piston. So that outer boot inner ring here lives on that little edge there. Right, so I'm going to grease this up, I'm going to put the boot on and fire it in.
Seal goes in. Push that seal down, make sure it's nice and seated. There we go. Push it that way. Don't want any jokes in the comments.
And then once it finds its home, there we go. It slides right on in. You just want to start this seal. It's got to go in evenly. It can't go in ski whiff. So just start by pushing it in. Just like that. As you can see, that piston's pretty free. Once again, the M8 bolt coming into the absolute power play that it is. As you can see, new piston is in, new seals are in, and the seal is a little bit protruding at the back, but the piston is pushed all the way in. Seal's sitting pretty nice. It's not sitting on the piston, it's sitting kind of behind the piston, so as it's not going to get in the way and just break. So just a dust shield, and I'll show you how easy it is to move in and out. It should be really easy. So there, you can see the piston sticking out. This is not my strong hand, and I can just simply push that in. It should be really easy to move. If it's tight, then something's not right. That seal inside, it's got twisted or something when you put it in, so just push the piston back out, same way we did with the bolting behind it, and then just restart. But yeah, that's basically it. It's fairly simple, to be fair, on these anyways. Alright, so once you've done that, reinstall everything. So I'm reinstalling the bleed nipple and the flexi line. Make sure the contact areas of the flexi lines, everything, are nice and clean. Then reinstall them. And reinstall flexi line. Make sure you've got the little pin thing in its home, or else it will not want to tighten up properly. Okay, so now at this stage you can take your clamp or your bit of wood off. Can't do that on my left hand, my right hand's my strong hand. And then you're going to need to bleed your brakes, and then once you've bled them, before you go anywhere on a drive, you want to test the pedal. So when you press the pedal, it should move a little bit and then it should stop. It should not go all the way down to the floor. If it's going all the way down to the floor, something's leaking and you're going to have to come back here. You got to check your seal that you've just put in. You got to check to make sure you put your bleed nipple on. Check the flexi line. Check the flexi line where it goes into the caliper. Just check everything. So after you've bled it, clean everything off so it's nice and clean, everything's dry. And then once you've bled it, clean everything off so it's nice and dry. Then test the pedal with the engine running, because if you've got the engine running, then you've got the assisted brakes. Test it with the engine running, make sure everything's good, the pedal's not moving. If the pedal is moving, come back here, look for your wherever it's leaking, and obviously wherever it's leaking from, that's your problem. You will have to take everything apart if it is leaking and redo it. Just, you gotta make sure it's not leaking. But yeah, so that's it. It's easy as that. So that's how to rebuild some Bosch Yaris calipers.